Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning, April 3rd, 2024. And as always, here are a few pieces of information from the city of Monterey. We meet roughly every 3 weeks on YouTube with my live broadcast. And I always try to figure out a few topics that might be of interest for all of you who find the time to tune in and listen. Let me start off with the biggest challenge that we face right now, which is the traffic on Lighthouse Avenue. Yesterday was an absolute horrible day. We had traffic congestion in the Lighthouse area starting pretty much in the late morning hours, and it went on till past 6 p.m. last night. A lot of streets were clogged, not just Lighthouse, but also many streets in New Monterey. Folks had difficulties getting from Cannery Row back to their places they wanted to go. And it was basically a culmination of many things that led to this traffic disaster yesterday. So my apologies to all of those folks that were stuck in the traffic. I was stuck in the traffic around lunchtime as well, and I noticed also that the traffic going to Highway 68 was also terrible. There are many factors that played a role in that, and we have analyzed them overnight, and we have talked also to our contractor who does the necessary road work on Lighthouse Avenue. And we have made changes. So today there will be always both lanes open leading from Pacific Grove to Monterey. And we will work on only one lane going from Monterey to Pacific Grove. Coming and going then, or going into Pacific Grove or into Cannery Row, we will always have one lane open on Lighthouse going to Cannery Row or to PG, and both lanes open on Foam Street. So we think this will really work today a lot better. The challenges you have with projects like that, you have to work in the city right away, and big streets, large streets like Lighthouse, who carry 30 to 40,000 cars a day, are always very difficult to work because folks are so used to use those streets. Especially our connection from PG to Monterey is basically Lighthouse Avenue or Highway 68. And you always have folks that are not happy with whatever decision you may make. We contemplated night work that fell through. If we would do night work, you probably have people living up and down Lighthouse Avenue and also living left and right of Lighthouse Avenue in New Monterey, issuing a lot of concerns and complaints as well. What also made the situation, we believe, a little bit more difficult is that there is still an extended spring break here. And the other part that is important to know is that the Big Sur closure also led to people knowing that they can't drive down Big Sur, and so they stay on the Monterey Peninsula and try to enjoy the attractions that we have here. So a combination of the day-to-day normal commuter traffic plus also the issues we had in Big Sur, and also, frankly, as I said before, we could have done a better job in keeping the contractor also focused on certain areas and not closing too many intersections at the same time. So we're working on those angles. We felt your frustrations, and many of us also live and work in New Monterey or in Monterey like I do, and these are very specific challenges. The timing is never right. We wish we could have done the work a lot earlier, but you cannot work when you have a wave of rain storms that last 10, 12 days with rain in the forecast. So it has to be scheduled in a way that we are not impacting also too much the summer traffic, because if we do it during the summertime, people will also be upset. So it's a difficult situation. We're completely aware of it. I think today will be much better. Work for Wednesday and Thursday, for Thursday and Friday. Sorry, for Thursday and Friday looks like is not on the horizon due to the weather forecast, and then we will have another week next week where we will push through and hopefully get the remainder of the work done. And then once we have done those work elements, then there will be at a later point of time a micro seal of the whole street. So yesterday we just dug out the weakest part, replaced them, and then there will be an additional overlay work and striping work. So we'll figure this all out. Again, my apologies. We were all surprised at the end, and we all felt the pain like you did. We have also some things to report from last night's council meeting. The city council tackled a large-scale work program yesterday. Let me start in the afternoon session. We changed our noise ordinance to allow emergency generators or generators to use during power outages. Our noise ordinance, especially in residential areas, is making the use of emergency generators very, very difficult because they have to comply with a certain decibel limit. Almost every single emergency generator cannot comply with a decibel limit of 60 decibels in a residential neighborhood. However, we realize that due to climate change, the power outages caused by fallen trees, etc., that there is the need for residents to hook up an emergency generator. And so our ordinance yesterday that we presented to the council and was approved by the council will allow during times of power outages that those emergency generators can be run. Now, what they still need to do is those folks who would like to operate an emergency generator, there is a process for getting a building permit, and then you can install a permanent emergency generator on your property. There are certain setback requirements, etc., and our team will help you to interpret the building code as well as the city code. So that was a decision that the council yesterday made, and in 2 weeks is a second hearing of this ordinance, and then 30 days later this ordinance becomes into effect, and this will hopefully help a few residents. The flip side is those residents who do not have an emergency generator and who live close by residents who may have a generator, they may be concerned about the noise. So again, it's like with Lighthouse, you want to balance the needs of the community in the right way. And I think yesterday the emergency generator ordinance limits the use of emergency generators just for the time of experiencing a power outage. So I hope this will work out. We will see, and if it doesn't work the way we expect it to work out, we will tinker with it and make changes. And again, as always, give us your feedback, and the rules that we implement are the rules that the people want to see. And we will bring this then forward through the Planning Commission, again, to the City Council. Last night, also late afternoon, the Library Board gave us a presentation. They spoke about the library, where the library sits within the value system of our community, and they made a very compelling case for the use of the library, for the value of the library, and what it means for our community. Our city library is a thing of community pride. We have the first public library in the state of California. The first library started in 1849 when the city of Monterey hosted the first public library in the state of California. So we are very proud of that accomplishment. Of course, we have to reinvest into the library, and you heard me speak during the State of the City to emphasize that we need to take a good hard look and how do we cherish our assets and how are we going to maintain and fund those assets. I spoke at length about the usefulness of our CIP. I also shared with you that it is, in my opinion, time also that the NCIP takes a good look at what else they can routinely fund in order to preserve the quality of life that we have. My appeal is basically we need to reinvest into existing facilities, and we don't need necessarily create new facilities with new facility maintenance needs. So last night the library board spoke up and made a good pitch about library needs, and they are interested again to open the library up for 6 days a week. Opening hours. Right now the library is open from Tuesday to Saturday. They like to add the Monday into that, and I'm very sure that our proposed budget will address some, if not all, of the wishes of the library board, because we understand how important the library is for our community. Then in the evening session, there were 3 or 2 major items that came in front of council. One was automatic license plate readers, ALPR. These are the camera systems that many cities have already implemented. Almost every city around us has ALPR, automatic license plate readers, and they basically take photos of the license plate and the type of the car. They don't take pictures of people sitting in the car or other features. They just focus on the license plate as well as the type of the car. Basically, when you think of, about a car and you take a photo of their trunk, you always see that it's either a Honda or a Toyota or a Mercedes, but you also see the license plate. So that's the system, and it has been proven to be pretty useful when you have license plate showing up in the system that have been earmarked or marked as hot plates, as they are called. These are plates that have been connected to crimes, and it really has been very successful that those camera systems then notify local law enforcement agencies when a car like that passes through one of those ALPRs, and then it sends out a hit to the law enforcement, and they can be on the lookout for those vehicles a lot easier. There have been numerous stories about the success of ALPRs, and I urge you, if you are interested, to just Google it and see what happened in Seaside, or what happened in King City, or what happened on Canary Row or in Marina. Many very current success stories. The council discussed a lot of those challenges that also come with ALPR. There are privacy concerns expressed with respect to the data that is being collected, with respect to what is actually photographed. Can there be innocent bystanders be in the photo, etc. And the council, when after they received public comments from about 14 folks that attended that meeting, took them very serious, and they were discussing very heartfelt the concerns and weighing the pros and cons of the options. And at the end, the council approved ALPRs with a 3-2 vote, with the mayor and Councilmember Garcia voting no, and the other 3 council members, Hafa and Barber and Smith, voting yes on that. But it was very clear that the council likes what was implemented, likes what was being proposed to be implemented, but they had concerns also about misuse and what would happen if someone would go rogue and would just started trying to track someone through the ALPR system. And how is the data stored in the cloud, etc. And so it was a very helpful, very useful conversations. And I think in the end, the motion that was brought forward contained a few modifications that were put forward. One of them is an annual report that the city attorney then has to independently review. So the police department creates the report about the usage, and then the city attorney will be the eyes and ears of the city council to ensure that everything went according to policy, as well as that future policy changes are also presented to the city council. So I think those main changes that were proposed by the city council make a lot of sense. And now our police department is tasked to identify locations and also create the project to actually install those license plate readers. So that was the half of the night, and then the other half of the night we talked about sewer, which is not a very sexy project or a very interesting topic for a lot of folks, because you really don't know what happens after you fill your sink with water and it flushes away, or after you flush your toilet. It's something that people don't completely understand, but then when something happens, everyone understands and values the whole infrastructure system. We have about 100 miles of sewer pipes in the city of Monterey, and the sewer pipes run usually in the middle of the street, and you see every once so often you see metal plates that are the sewer access points, and that's how the sewer system gets maintained. We have over 2,000 of those so-called manholes in the system, and we have over 7 pumps. We have 7 pump stations in the city that also pump all the stuff that is getting flushed down, all the sewerage from here through our pipes to Monterey One Water. And so the discussion was about what should be the next sewer rate. And the council wrestled with that as well. They received first the plan, and they received also the detailed information that was prepared by staff and our consultants of how much money do we need to reinvest into the sewer pipes. And then the second half of the discussion went towards how do we structure the sewer rates. Now, what you need to know is, and that is not something that helps anyone to make you happy, but our sewer rates are the second lowest in the county. And when you look at the proposed interest and the proposed rate increases, we will be still the second lowest in the county. But what you all will feel in your own pocketbooks is that the prices will go up. And the council was wrestling with that, particularly understanding also that Monterey One Water does a lot of good things now. And one of those things are also reinvesting and treating that sewerage into recyclable and potable water that it then gets being resold back to Cal-Am as water, then used for drinking and watering, etc. So the council wrestled with all of that. In the end, with a 5-0 vote, the council went forward. Part of the deliberation was also about the anticipated sea level rise, and we have to adjust for that as well. Part of our infrastructure is in an area where we know, according to the studies and the analysis and the forecasting of scientists, that we will experience sea level rise, and we have to either relocate the pipes or do something else in order to protect our sewer infrastructure. So the plans that were brought forward were approved by the council, but what will now follow is that we will ask you, our property owners, only, do you want to carry the tax increase or the rate increase? It's not a tax, but Proposition 218 requires those fees to be also reviewed by voters, and we will send a notification out to every single property owner because it's a property-related fee, not a renter-related fee. And we will ask every property owner if they are willing to pay more for the sewer rate. So it will. We propose a 5-year gradual increase. It starts at right now we are $10.44, and it starts to increase next year, and then for the other 4 years, and it will go up to $22 and I believe 11 cents. So we have to adjust, we have to invest, and if we don't invest today, we will pay tomorrow through fines that we will be held responsible if things like sewage discharge into nature, or God forbid, if it discharges into the Monterey Bay. There are extremely stiff fines. And again, it's our obligation to ensure that we are keeping good care of our infrastructure. And in the next couple of weeks, we will send out a Prop 280 notification. And it works like a protest vote. If 50% plus one object to that, then the rates stay untouched. But then, of course, also a lot of the infrastructure work will not be taken place, or we have to find the money somewhere else, which means some other needs may not be satisfied. So Council last night gave the green light to go forward with the next phase, which is the rates are as we suggested, but then now we have to reach out and find out what do you, the property owners, feel should be the rate. Now, a discussion point last night was also, will those rate increases be passed on to renters? I would say everything that goes into a rent calculation includes also the fixed cost, i.e. property taxes, parcel taxes, as well as utility fees. And if the landlord or the property owner does the math, and they realize also how this cuts into their expected profit margin in order to pay their own mortgages and pay the operation and maintenance, as well as take home profits, there will be impacts also to a degree on the rental fee structure. Now, an $11 increase over 5 years is not really that detrimental. Having said that, it's the totality also of utility costs keep going up, and also Monterey One Water, as we learned last night, also is contemplating sewer adjustments there as well. And again, it's up to you and our elected official to ensure that those rate increases within their own localities, but also within the regional sewer agency like Monterey One Water, stay within terms of being rational and reasonable. So we left the council chamber shortly after 11 p.m. I think it was 11:15 or so. It was a long night, but in the end, I feel that we moved the needle forward a little bit. ALPR is a thing that I think we were holding out as the last city because we wanted to see what's going on in the other cities. Does it really work? And last but not least, the sewer rates was something that we went to council in 2022, asking them to look into that, and council at that time approved it. And so last night we reported back about the sewer rate study that was completed, and I believe the council did the right thing, and I believe also the rate increases that we are proposing are certainly very, very reasonable. We hadn't raised the rate since 2016. So that's from last night's council meeting. We had an earthquake this morning in Taiwan. Why do I mention it? We have a sister city, Tainan City, which is in Taiwan. What we understand is that the earthquake was on the other side of the island of Taiwan, and our sister city might be not affected. But Tainan is a sister city relationship. Not many people speak about it, but they were the first ones who reached out to our city at the beginning of the COVID crisis, and they sent us 2 large boxes full of thousands of masks and protective eye goggles. I remember. So Tainan is a city, they care about us. They cared about us during COVID, and we will, of course, reach out to them and see also how we can help them. After Lanao, this is the second sister city that might have been affected by an earthquake. We also are getting ready to start accepting applications for the rental assistance program. I want to say very clearly we are getting ready. We will make an announcement of that. We have a software that will interface also with our rental registry, and we will use that software for the sign-up process. It will be first come, first serve. And again, we have never created a type of emergency rental or rental assistance program of that kind. And what I shared with the council is we will learn while we are doing it. And so be patient with us. And if you hear negativity coming out, not everyone can get through, or there's not enough staff time dedicated, we will work through those issues. It's totally new for a city of our size, or for cities in general, to deal with rental assistance like that. And so I think our team and our city council have the best intentions, and we will see how we get through that. And then we will, of course, adjust and tinker and do better. Last but not least, talking about housing, we will also present to you our community development grant program. There will be a public comment period for the community development block grant CDBG. This will close on May 7th, 2024. You can find a lot of information of that program at monterey.org/housing. That's an annual program that we are creating, and a lot of community members are participating there. And also we have a lot of service grants that go to different groups such as Salvation Army, Veterans Transition Center, Community Human Services, CHS, and others. So take a look at that, and if you'd like to participate, you are absolutely invited to do that. Does Monterey One H2O get income for cleaning the water and making it available for drinking? So was it included in the proposed increase amount? No, they don't get income from that. They have to do their own calculations about what they are doing. Our calculation is completely based on what are our costs, and the actual sewerage, meaning the affluents that are being delivered to Monterey One Water, are delivered right now not on a cost basis. So we are not selling them, so to speak, the sewerage, and then we get money back from Monterey One Water, because at the end they would, quote unquote, sell the water to Cal-Am. So that's a suggestion, and that's something that we are actually contemplating when we are looking at some of the other additional water sources that we are trying to deliver to Monterey One Water, i.e. The Lake Elistero runoff and some other stormwater runoff. If we start feeding that into our pipes, into the sewer pipes, we will increase with that the ability of Monterey One Water of reuse of water. And what we would like to do, and where we will negotiate with Monterey One Water to get credit for this additional stormwater runoff. So right now there is nothing like that in place, Dan Presser, but going forward, absolutely we have to make Monterey One Water aware that our investments in capturing rainwater and channeling it through the pipes need some sort of recognition at the end of by Monterey One Water, and this will allow us to also then get credits for housing, for more housing here, to build more multifamily housing units. So yes and no. Your point is well taken. We are working on that. That's last but not least, we are hiring. We are desperately looking for people to fill a lot of positions. We have part-time positions, we have regular part-time positions, and we have full-time positions. We will start a brand new fire academy very shortly. We will hire for about 8 additional firefighters because we have vacancies through retirement and promotions also within the fire department. So we need to fill those. and the fire chief will sooner or later put out the news that how to apply and when the fire academy will start. But we also are interested in folks who want to work a couple of hours here and there, maybe even in administrative functions. The labor market is so tight right now, we cannot really find enough qualified people. And so if you're interested, connect with HR or look at our ads. We even advertise on Craigslist. Connect with us, and pretty sure that we'll find a job for you. Talking about jobs, summer camps, summer registration is open for Parks and Rec. And as part of that, also, we are looking at 200 to 400 more part-timers, usually high schoolers or college students who help us to conduct all that programming. So again, Monterey City is hiring. We have over 50 full-time vacancies at the present time, and we are interested in hearing from you, or please spread the word. If you hear somebody who lives here and who likes to work or likes to get a little bit extra money through part-time work, we are your choice employer. With that, thank you for listening to me. Hope you have a great day. And again, I hope we will avoid future Lighthouse Avenue challenges like we had yesterday. We're working very hard to get that under control and addressed. Thank you so much for listening. And always, it's a pleasure listening to you and working with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.